in because we're going to game 3. The series is 1-1, and we're about to find out exactly what has changed, if anything.
Ooh.
First ban Talia means Camille, not
Yeah, they might drop the Camille then and say, hey, when you played split pushing game 1 on the side of Kingzone, we could punish that with our hard engaged compositions. We can give that over again, but no, they're just baiting us by swapping it around.
You guys were thrown off just by the order. No big deal here, though. Everything on the other side.
We were thrown off like you weren't excited as well.
I saw Kobe shocked already.
Well, look, Vladimir as well as the Rakan are the two that we're missing right now, and there is a pivot. Rakan not banned by RNG to get rid of BDD's Irelia.
So Rakan suddenly has to be a thing we need to talk about. Obviously the Ezreal, if it's open again, has been the first pick for Uzi, but when Rakan is left open, teams tend to first pick him. But then Morgana can actually come in as a counterpick, or Tahm Kench. I think Ezreal is still the choice.
Well, I just want to say the Ornn has been banned, so we'll need to find something else as an insta-lock Ezreal.
That's definitely a very big change because it's a huge part of RNG's team fighting. The wide sweeping ultimate, catching people out and adding so much more presence to the 5-on-5s. One of Letme's most played champions, not going to be available, so he'll have to step up somewhere else.
He was 6 wins and 3 losses across the 9 games, including the 2 today. His next played is Cho'Gath at 3, then Gangplank, Maokai, Shen, Vladimir, so a number of options available.
Yeah, the Vladimir is actually something RNG could grab for themselves once they can pick again, because it is a good flex pick for them. Letme actually looked very good when he played the Vladimir against Fnatic, found some very strong flanks, but it does move away from the tank top lane setup they've been utilizing so far. Early Sion pick as well, also a flex for Kingzone.
Yeah, BDD has played a ton of mid lane Sion. You can rush a Banner of Command if your opponent is a magic dealer and try and get a lot of pressure there, then use his ultimate to roam around. That was an effective strategy for Kingzone in the LCK. Also, if you look at the bottom lane, again, it was the Varus early pick here for Kingzone, so they are going to try and have that pushing in the bottom side, get some damage onto the turret, slowly wear it down, and start their game there.
It worked extremely well last game. It might work even better now that Ornn is gone, because his ult is just what's so hard to deal with as a low mobility champion like Varus. If it's a Cho'Gath instead, that buys a lot of time for the Varus to just sit there and spam auto attacks and proc the Blight stacks with the AP build. This is the Vladimir we talked about. It is again a flex option for them. It's going to be interesting because it is very much a flex meta where so many champions can go to different roles and we don't 100% know what's going to happen yet.
What would you like to see happen? Knowing that the Cho'Gath is up and available, there was a brief hover. As obviously Letme's second most played champion this tournament, and Kingzone DragonX will be locking in the Trundle for Peanuts. Of course, there is a flex possibility there, but we're expecting it's going to be Peanuts.
I would love a top lane that can engage. I think Skarner is not necessarily the best main engage because he runs at you and then needs flash to actually surprise you. He's great follow-up engage, and the same thing for Vladimir with flanking. I want to see if that is a possibility. Sion would of course have been a good choice, but that was stolen.
Yeah, that one's taken away. They still have things, like Shen that we have possibly seen at the tournament, but becomes a bit more difficult to execute once you get to those 5-on-5s. It could, lend some more greenness down to the bottom side though, and Uzi, and try and buff them up.
I like the Rakan ban here because that would have been an engaged support that could have worked really well in the RNG composition. Because again, they have follow-up engage right now. They need the main one.
Initiation, step 1 engage. Where will it come from, if at all? Kingzone need to ban out one more champion here in phase 2. We see the Rise showing his face in that ban pool, despite not being one of the most successful champions at the tournament. Xiao, who actually is undefeated on that one. It will be the Braum removed from the table. So Tahm Kench is still up and available. Janna still up and available. Thinking about what other support champions could be in the pool, depending on which direction the teams want to go.
Yeah, if RNG just want a hard win bot lane, then Janna is an okay choice. The problem is Varus' ult is amazing at level 6 against squishy range supports, because then you send down your jungler, you land the ulti onto the squishy range support, and they basically just die instantly. So the Varus pick here could actually cause a lot of issues for RNG and their normal game plan.
And they're able to get their lane compatriot as well. Tahm Kench once again picked up to try and help out Varus towards the later stages of the game. You can just devour him right out of a Skarner ultimate and keep him safe.
And also RNG is saying, okay, we know you have the Varus to kill tanks, you have the Trundle ulti. We don't want to give you a Cho'Gath feast as well, because then there's no way we can win the normal team fights against you. So that's why they also ban it. Let's see if it is going to be Vladimir going top. They still don't know where Sion is going. And so far during the tournament, mid lane Vladimir's been much, much stronger. And if they send it up to top side, they might lack engage on the side of RNG. Let's wait and see.
What other champions are available? We've mentioned the Shen, we've touched on even the Maokai, which is something we've seen if they wanted a tank in that top lane, and it will be the Shen, Kobe. So there's the team composition here from RNG.
And they've got the range matchup into the Varus top lane,
yeah,
so they're gonna try and punish that with globals. But Khan isn't done yet.
The classic counter pick to Shen, a GP. When Shen TPs away, GP ulti follow, and then he just outscales you.
Even in lane, you can hit your barrels to penetrate armor, you can get true damage from the passive, you can eat oranges and get out of the taunt. We'll see though, is there gonna be extra pressure brought?
Well, that's kind of the thing here. If you look at how RNG wants to start fights, it's most likely Xiaohu running in with the Shen ult onto him and then Skarner coming and flying in to try and grab a target. Shen still is not actually main engaged. He's also great follow-up engaged to a lot of fights. So RNG needs to be very good with their vision and finding flanks to get on to prey in that back line.
I'm wondering if Xiaohu is going to take the Spellbook Vladimir, which has been very popular, or the Predator Vladimir, another option, which allows him to keep that Ignite for later for when he does get in as well. Because there's so many sources of mobility for Vladimir nowadays with the changes to Shirelia's Reverie. It's a very low cooldown, and that is a very popular item.
Yeah, we also saw it pick against a roaming mid lane in Aurelion Soul. Now, Sign can ult to side lanes as well, so it is definitely a very good option for Xiaohu in this game here. RNG, though, they want to win this bot lane. That's why they draft the Shen. That's why they risk the counter pick top for Khan, because they need Uzi to get ahead.
Oh, there's a sentence I've never heard before. RNG want to win the bot lane. And we'll see whether or not Letme's unkilled Shen will help out. Both of these players, Letme and Khan, have run their respective champions once this tournament, and they have both gone unkilled. 1-0-9 for Letme's Shen, and 7-0-14 for Khan's Gangplank. You can hear Zenith cheering for RNG as we load up onto the Rift. And importantly, one of the questions from Draft is answered. It is Unsealed Spellbook on the side of Xiaohu's Vladimir.
Notice level 1 here. Sweeper on Peanut. We have seen this once when you then invade and you expect the enemy team to put a defensive ward on one of their buffs. You can use the Sweeper to kill that and try and get an early edge on his side. We know Kingzone, very famous for the level 1s, used it last game to kill Uzi.
Kingzone are kind of thinking that it is going to be Uzi and Ming starting in lane, trying to utilize their range matchup here down bottom and push and get the early lead. So maybe it's a delayed invade. Because if their duo does start down there, they could go check the red.
Well, they're still sitting here waiting. So they're not looking to split the map towards top side. And that obviously is because Khan on the GP is not necessarily looking to just perma-shove to a turret 24/7. There's very much an even matchup between him and Letme early. Peanut is still sitting there.
Yeah, makes me think they would do it, but it looks like
could also just be for defensive.
Yeah, with Prey moving over as well, he's going to land some extra damage. And since they're going to give over control of the bottom lane anyway, just going to let the Ezreal and Janna push on in.
All right, so no shenanigans to start off game number 3. But a very different style of draft now from what we've seen in game 1 and game 2. A lot more emphasis going to be on RNG side to set up those fights. Fisher, you talked so much about the later stages where not having that primary engage tool, you're going to be very reliant on getting those Shadow Dash taunts or fighting the flanks from Vladimir. Now, it can work. It's just more difficult to set up.
Yeah, and the reason I highlight it so much is because it's such a big difference from the Ornn games they've had so far, where you have this guaranteed way of always engaging. So we just have to see how RNG plays it. We know from back in the LPL that they love to play 1-3-1 on their side, despite it being Kingzone who's actually doing it in this series. If you look mainly at game 1, so Xiaohu will go to a side lane later, and he will be able to outmatch BDD.
Yeah, he's going to be the one looking for those flanks, looking for the pockets of Fog of War to work with. Down bottom, though, we had Peanut walking through the river. We're going to take a look at Uzi.
Oh, Gorilla is going to go for the flash forward. Gets the lick, looking for the stick. Will be happy to take Uzi's flash. And Ming's gonna get some return damage.
Oh, this is a classic strategy from the LPL against Uzi. Early gank him in the lane, try and set him behind.
And that is a only blue quadrant route from Peanut. He clears out all 3 camps to get his level 3. Then the quick visit bottom is very effective because you get the summoners, and then you can try and reset to your red quadrant, but Karsa's gonna race him.
I'm a little bit sad Peanut got level 3 because normally it is a level 2 gank that Clearlove will pull off and try and kill Uzi, and then the EDG bot lane can win, but fine. He got level 3 this time around, still counts.
And because Karsa starts blue side, went down to red, and then would have to traverse all the way back up, not enough time or health, so he just stops off at the Scuttle Crab to get the free health back, and then returns to clearing.
And let's see what this is going to have, what impact this will have on the matchup. Gentlemen, I have some stats for you in terms of Uzi versus Prey over the last 2 games. Taking a look at their overall KDA, their damage percentage, and then just a phenomenal CS per minute. 11.1 for Uzi, who has been the CS per minute leader in tournament long. And then Prey, of course, not far behind. We've seen that Varus into Ezreal's second matchup this time, and a lot more pressure on Prey's shoulders once again.
It's true, but Prey did come out on top last game, got that first bot lane turret, and also had very strong impacts in teamfights, as you can see with the damage percent. Obviously, Peanut is looking for gank number 2.
In addition, I would think that, okay, well, let's see if Xiaohu gets out of this one.
Let's take a look. Decimating Smash from BDD is actually not a lot of mana for him to work with. Sanguine Pool will buy some time. Ignite is burning. Flash forward! First blood to RNG. Peanut manages to get a chomp down on Xiaohu. And BDD will not be able to chase. Actually gets one zombie smash down. First blood to LPL.
Xiaohu just has ice in his veins, plays it so calmly there, baiting them in. As soon as you see that Predator pop up over your heads for Kingzone, they gotta know that they've been had.
Perfect timing, though. We talk about Xiaohu coming into this game, how he is such a superstar also for RNG, despite us mainly talking about Uzi normally, and then he gets to play Vladimir mid, and he gets the first kill.
Kobe, how did it happen?
Let's take a look here because Peanut waiting in the brush and gonna move up with the Trundle. And as I said, it's dangerous to overchase into the side lanes. So they put this ward down, but then as soon as Predator pops up, Peanut starts to back away. He knows BDD is in a very tenuous situation.
And nothing BDD can do on the way out with the zombie. In the end, first blood for RNG. Not in the lane we expected it. Because normally with this Vladimir, you're not getting early kills. And Sign typically never dies in lane.
Yep, definitely an aggressive move. Well punished once again by RNG. We've said that so many times, them punishing the mistakes of Kingzone. And here, it does give them some early game control.
Also controlling the bottom lane here with Ming on his range support. So that is also a change from the last game with Janna being back in the lineup.
And also so important, Ming holding onto his flash from that very, very early gank. We saw in the previous game how flashless targets were picked on and punished. Now that was Let Me and Khan primarily. This time around, both of them on these top lane champions that want to scale. Not the most exciting 3-6, but now Stand United's up for Let Me. We're gonna have that cannon barrage for Khan. They will start impacting the other lanes.
It is very, very true. Kasa is looking for something else. Nope, he just wants to go back to base. That's okay as well. You don't have to perm gank when you're not level 6 on a Skarner. Mingdo also, not only with the laning phase where he's gonna be very useful. GP, Trundle, and Sion on the other side. 3 champions where Ming's ulti can be huge. Of course, the GP can land the barrels from range, but typically in late game fights, you want to get in and get an auto 2 off with crits. That is something Ming can prevent. So Kingzone might actually struggle reaching Uzi, and RNG could also struggle reaching Prey on the other side.
Yeah. Meanwhile, during the laning phase here, we have the double teleport bottom once again from Kingzone as Gorilla uses his spellbook to switch over there and get back to lane. Uzi and Ming continually trying to harass them, though, and keep them low, whittle them down under this turret, and keep that pressure.
4 teleports in total on the side of Kingzone. Looking at 2 for now on the side of RNG. Xiaohu can swap to that later. As it stands, small CS advantages for every lane on RNG. +10 for Let Me, +10 for Xiaohu, +11 for Uzi. And that's giving them this 1,500 gold lead with the addition of First Blood. And Khan's going to be the recipient of a dive.
Predator is ready, and Xiaohu is roaming up. This is going to be a 3v1.
There is so much damage to come down. The Impale will come out. I'm looking for the oranges. Gets eaten, but it is not okay. Xiaohu 2-0.
Yeah, this mid laner here getting the first blood, then moving up to get another kill in the top lane. Khan's CB's on cooldown, so he will lose all these minions. Also use these ultis, not available for fight here.
Shen ultimate definitely ready here. They could stand united. Ming's fishing around. They don't have any more vision left though as Gorilla puts down the control ward.
Wisely backing away. Xiaohu made it to mid lane. Let me just about to finish the recall, and the mountain's interrupted.
That right there is why for 6 years we've been saying go to the source of the global. Gank the global, because once they kill Khan, they have an extra man advantage. Even though they spent 2 people roaming to the top side, Let Me with his Stand United available could threaten on the bottom side and dissuade them from doing that dragon.
They ganked the global and they ganked for the global as well on the side of RNG, and it was very, very effective here. Shen is doing well. Let Me had to blind pick it and realize there was a high chance GP would show up, but GP's for late game. Early game here, RNG can keep this push. Bot lane, they're winning with the Janna. Top lane, Let Me has been controlling it, and Xiaohu is now 2-0. Kingzone at the moment, they're losing everywhere.
They're down 2,000 gold, Deficio. RNG with another strong opening to the matchup. Let's see what Xiaohu can do on this Vladimir, because as you mentioned, he is the recipient of the kills. He is the champion and the player that needs to find the flanks and could be game-changing as we get to those team fights in the coming 10 to 20 minutes. For now, just go back to laning phase, 10 minutes on the card. Shirelia's Reverie just completed by Xiaohu.
Yeah, and with so many globals in this game, the cooldown tracking is so important for both these teams to try and see if you actually have that window to pull off the play. Because look at the map right now, there are barely any wards, none of them deep, because there are so many possible answers here with global abilities.
So want to see with BDD once he gets the banner completed. Dematerializer is almost gone from Xiaohu's side. I think he could have saved 2 of the stacks. Seeing as Sign loves to rush the banner command, and that's one of the ways you get push in your mid lane and can start moving to the sides. But BDD has not been able to do it so far. Let Me, that ulti is ready, Kobe. We're gonna see it bot lane.
Definitely a possibility. Right now he's got his hands full with Khan though in the side brush as he takes a shot in the face. Peanut though down bottom might be the one to actually draw out that cooldown.
Yeah, that definite possibility becomes an absolute possibility.
I'm
if
glad it's
Peanut
possible.
decides to engage. I didn't quite see whether or not Uzi or Ming spotted him walking into the bush, but looking at the river, Pass is making his way down as well. Ming with a very, very good flash.
He was ready for that Deficio. You talked about in Champ Select. I know that you have felt the pain of being killed as a support in bottom lane by a Varus ultimate. Ming not taking his chances, flashes out of the way, and is able to escape certain death.
So now, next time Praise ult is ready, they can try and do it again, but Let Me's ult should be there and can come down to protect Ming. So it is hard for Kingzone to snowball that lane, and now it's Karsa starting Drake.
A 3rd game in a row. Karsa gonna slip in here and try and get this first Drake. He's got the Skarner Spire, the extra attack speed working away, and since Xiaohu has control of mid lane on the Vladimir, it's an easy rotation for RNG.
The only positive for Kingzone right now is that Khan is farming. He didn't go for Grasp on the GB like we've seen other people do, because he knows this lane matchup is fine for him. So he goes for Klepto, tries to get as much gold income as possible. But right now, he's the only member we're looking at and can say this guy is actually doing fine. Everyone else, they're behind and getting pushed in.
Oh, I'm helping, I'm helping. How many teleports will this be? Zavala comes out from Gorilla, and look, instant reply from Kingzone. It is cancelled, and I got too excited too early. Kingzone able to escape with that Tom Kench.
So Karsa did not want to ult back Gorilla here, not knowing exactly how many people TP down, but they might set up a tower dive.
All right, Gorilla and Prey, they're sticking around. Khans can still join the fight if he wants to. That's a flash forward from Xiaohu. Gorilla's Grey Help will buy some time, but the transfusion will be enough to take down Prey. And it's Uzi that kills Gorilla.
Oh, and it's the little tiger who starts off the dive. Xiaohu is able to make the play again. Proactive use of this Vladimir. Shirelia's Reverie gets him in place, but Peanut wants to play a cross-map play.
All right, let's take a look. Let-Me's got flash available to him, as well as that dash. Needs to get away, but will sidestep. Dash for now. Roar of the Slayer comes out. BDD has slain, let me.
Let me realize too late that, wait a minute, if we're all bot lane and killing them, they should all go top lane and kill me. And then he ends up running away when PDD and Peanut are already there to attack him. So it is a return kill for Kingzone. They will get a top lane turret as well, but they've lost first turret gold.
All give and take. When you make a play on the strong side of the map, have more members there, you gotta expect the counterplay on your weak side. Here's another look at Xiaohu starting it off though. He waits on the other side of the wall so he doesn't give away any position while Gorilla was in there, runs straight through with the Shurelya's Revelry, and doesn't hesitate to flash, knowing that that will put him in range for the slow once his E pops.
Just great performance from Xiaohu's side, but as you can see in the minimap, Left Mid did not back away in time. He stayed top lane, hoping no one would attack him. Well, this happened as a response, and therefore it is another kill for Kingzone.
Yep, Peanut saving his pillar there for the very end to corner him against the tower, and they finished off that kill in addition to the turret trade. Now, RNG still get the first turret bonus though, because they were the ones to act first.
And that means they maintain their gold lead. In terms of itemization, Rageblade Trinity Force picked up for Khan and Prey respectively. Banner of Command for BDD. So those first tier spikes have come in. This might allow Kingzone a little bit more flexibility.
They're getting everything at the moment. Xiaohu's top lane pushing. They're going to get Rift Held. BDD. Banner is now completed. There's one dematerializing stack for the Vladimir, and that is important to at least kill the first one, because after that it's going to take quite some time for Xiaohu to auto-attack it down.
Yep, Karsa going to be able to get something a little bit more powerful than a banner minion, though, as the Rift Herald is taken up and does not like it from the sound of that scream.
Oh, it's important to highlight how Uzi is using every single ulti to kill the caster minion whenever Kingzone are trying to push in these side lanes. It's a very important use of that ulti.
Exactly. When a couple seconds mean the difference between taking down a turret or losing tempo here, every single minion killed counts. They use the Rift Herald in mid lane. They won't be able to finish it off, but it is just teetering.
They're going top lane, which means Kingzone are going bot lane. Let me, time to run again.
Okay, let's see if we can escape this time round. Powder Keg is set up in place as the Spirit's Refuge buys some time, and the barrels will not find their target. The towers are helping out Let Me. Khan goes very, very low. Let Me survives the dive this time.
Man, this guy, definitely good job down there, dodging out and being able to evade under the turret relieves so much pressure for RNG, as now 3 members, they have an extra person here around the low health turret.
Ooh, let's see around the mid lane. RNG not pushing further because Peanut actually showed up and Khan's ulti is still ready, but Xiaohu doesn't care anymore. He's just taking everything.
Yep, still able to finish off the turret on the top side, and that is RNG up 1 outer turret versus Kingzone with 1 very close to follow.
He might complete his death cap very, very soon in this game. He is so fed with 3 kills, 143 CS as well, and he just got full gold from that turret.
And remember, it's scary for Gorilla because he does want to use the Devour to protect Prey against a possible Skarner ultimate or hold it for that. But if a Vladimir gets to the back line, you cannot allow him access for a combo on any of your threats.
Yeah, and with that spellbook, he can go for Ghost, so it makes it even easier for him to get in there. We have the Shurelya you highlighted earlier, Kobe. So Xiaohu will find his way back, and what we need to see from Gorilla if you want to actually save Prey from the Vladimir is that you devour a lot earlier than normal. You want to try and devour when Xiaohu appears the first time and lands down the ulti so that Prey doesn't start taking a bunch of damage first, because after the ulti will proc, and that will proc in the belly.
And he's also working on an early QSS once again because he assumes that once he devours Prey, he's going to be the target.
Oh, good damage onto Uzi. Very good flash away. Look at the Monsoon for Ming. That's going to save some time as Ming's now flashing for his life. Let Me arrives with the Stand United. RNG live to fight another day, and that day is now. Xiaohu with the Crimson Rush and the Hemoblade get healed right back up to max. The Impale manages to catch BDD. He's pulled backwards, and his zombie form will be taken down. Kingzone lose 1.
What an awesome fight, though. Great engage from Kingzone to start the entire thing. Prey lands the ulti. BDD flies in with the Scion, but Ming and Uzi prevents everything.
These fights are almost chess moves to Vicio. Good opening there from Kingzone, but better answer from RNG.
That keeps RNG in the lead. The fight happens moments before the next Drake, and they are potentially setting up for it.
Yeah, we might get another one here. Let Me. No ulti on the Shen, but he's around mid lane to join. Xiaohu is still very healthy.
All right, the fracture comes out. Gorilla forced to use Devour. He takes a chilling smite to the face. The Howling Gale knocks Gorilla up into the air. Here comes Uzi. It's Xiaohu that takes him out. True Shot Barrage tags onto Prey. The Flash Flash rather, lines it up for Let Me. 7 kills to 1.
And that means the map is wide open for RNG to claim their prize. Infernal Drake gonna stack on top of that mountain.
Gentlemen, you can see why Vladimir was banned in the opening 2 games of this series. 4-0-3 for Xiaohu. 100% kill participation and enough gold to complete Rabadon's death cap already.
And we can see why RNG ended up first in their group stage. When they get into these fights here, they execute them so well. Khan is actually fighting Xiaohu.
Oh, Xiaohu, has he bitten off more than he can chew? Flash is available to him and will go golden for now. Managing to use that stopwatch shot in the face of the parlay, and that's a huge amount of bonus gold to Kingzone. Sniped with the Mystic shot. 1-for-1 trade.
Oh, Peanut once again goes down there. Gorilla was almost there for the Devour, and that save would have meant a big Kingzone resurgence, but in the end, they're still able to push here off of the kill on the bottom side. The banner minion helping assist them.
This game just went completely crazy right there with the fight in mid, then around Drake, then in the bot lane. Look at this push here from Kingzone. It did secure them the first turret in the bot lane. Very important that Khan keeps farming because he's in the late game.
He did keep farming, and he canceled his recall to do so, Deficio.
All right, Caster's going to eat himself a powder cake to the face and will use the Impale. Uzi is on a rampage.
That juicy minion wave right in front of the tower. The barrel already set up.
But that's the thing. Do you blame him? It was right there. He just needed a few hits. And we did ask for Khan to continue farming. He's technically just doing what we asked him about.
So it's your fault, in other words.
Yeah, it's my fault. Blame me.
Go.
Worth it as long as you get paid then, huh? All right,
we'll find out, because if they go down 2-1 in the series, much less will that hurt. This is the replay of the fight just before the Dragon.
Yeah, so here we have RNG coming in, and it's only 4 members of Kingzone because TP from PDD comes down now, and I think Kingzone is walking way too early, completely unable to actually take a fight. And RNG has just shown us so many times that if you overextend slightly, they smack you.
Listen to that crowd erupt. Uzi throws his hands in the air. He's got himself 4 kills, 2 assists to complement that of Xiaohu. And RNG are once again in a commanding position. 5,000 gold up. Baron is going to become an objective, but it feels like RNG have enough of a lead. They can pick any fight they want for the next few minutes and be in an advantageous position.
What a series we have on our hands. That death cap is done for Xiaohu. He has tremendous threat onto the back line. And now every summoner spell.
Wow, Uzi manages to use that arcane shift. Now he's exhausted. Here comes Khan. Stand United buying some time. There's no flash for Uzi, but he manages to get another arcane shift. Let Me will not find the taunt, but there's enough damage coming out thanks to that Tiamat. Now Let Me's in trouble. He gets chopped down, taken out, and killed by Prey's auto attack. Xiaohu's looking for a flank, but it's Uzi with the double to close it out.
Never doubt Uzi. He makes the play into a good one there as Ming on the Jenna gets a reset. Heals him back up, and they continue taking 2 for 1.
He actually just baited everyone, his own team and the enemy team, because everyone was just suddenly fighting back and forth here. Uzi had to use everything to try and get out with the QSS, but because Ming is always protecting him, he keeps us getting more kills.
Yeah, we've talked so much about the AD carries, but the trust between these duos really coming up big.
Ming 007 on that Janna. His monsoons have been game-changing. Finding the right targets, keeping Uzi alive.
Yeah, TPing again, they're gonna find some more.
Xiaohu's got a flash available to him. The Abyssal Voyage is actually being used into the river, but now Kasa, as well as Xiaohu, are here to back up Let Me. A lot of damage going down into BDD. Xiaohu needs to use that Sanguine Pool to buy some time. Here comes Ming and Uzi. Kingzone are running for their lives. Peanut gonna get devoured up by Gorilla, spat out in a defensive posture. Cannon Barrage is on cooldown and can't be used yet.
We said in Champs League that if Kingzone do not get ahead with this comp, they might just lack damage in these fights here. Khan is still waiting for more items before he's a huge threat. So what's happening here is they TP in, they try and collapse onto Xiaohu, but they just can't burst anyone down. This is Uzi with the bait.
Yep, he's able to arcane shift in, then immediately backs out. Frey misses the Varus ultimate there. Shen stand united onto Uzi. Janna reset as well. And then Let Me follows this one through. This is a 4v5 under turret with a health lead.
I thought Uzi had to flash out, but no, he just got another arcane shift and he actually stood his ground and took the fight. And then the rest of RNG show up and actually secure the kills.
Yep, they're able to kill BDD first and pick up the second one there with a nice arcane shift mystic shot from Uzi.
No, this is live. This is live. This is Khan trying to farm down. Xiaohu solo kills him.
Nope, he's dead. He's dead. Trevor, very much dead. Khan off the field now, and Peanut might follow suit.
Oh my word! Even Peanut caught out. Impaled backwards. Ming with a license to kill. 1-0-7. RNG looking towards Baron.
And this kind of game, it just fits RNG's playstyle with this comp because they don't need any sort of main engage. They can just always wait for Kingzone to try and fight them and then flank them, jump at them, kill them. They're starting Baron here, 2 members dead from Kingzone. And this game is just way too fast and everything is in favor of RNG.
I'm sure RNG feeling at home. The crowd is behind them every time they make a big play as well. And that Baron buff is going to let them go very, very close to the Kingzone base.
The first international final in several years. RNG as an organization and Uzi have had so many opportunities in finals. Uzi was once called the bridesmaid, never the bride, never able to hoist a trophy. And now on the verge of going 2-1 up.
I know that feeling, by the way.
And being so close, so close to being crowned MSI champion.
We said this was probably the best chance for RNG to shut down Kingzone and claim the title. They showed game 1, they were the stronger team. Game 3 here, they're definitely showing that they have the upper hand over Kingzone.
For Kingzone being down 10,000 gold, being down the Baron buff as well, it becomes enormously difficult to win this game. Because even with a crucial pick, there is enough damage from Xiaohu or Uzi to just close out the game. And our RNG, 24 minutes in, they got to break open the base, Kobe. They have to get over that final hurdle.
Oh, they are so excited to do it. Splitting immediately into 1-3-1. Let Me in the Shen on top side. Using the Baron-empowered minions up there to push them into Khan. Xiaohu got the bottom side going, and now they're converging on this blue quadrant.
Let's see where they go from there. You can hear Paris, let's go. Oh, let's go Kingzone, in fact. Stop to listen to the calls.
They won 5 games.
Everybody loves an underdog, and this series has been amazing. They definitely want to see him push through.
All right, Uzi now trying to get some chip damage here on this inhibitor turret while Let Me's pushing top.
He's chipping a lot of damage.
Is available. Or the Slayer will not find a target, and because there was no engage, Ming's Howling Gale finds nobody. Chain of Corruption. Manages to tag onto Uzi. He uses the QSS. Manages to escape with his life for now. Stand United buying some time. Uzi's just on the front line ADC. The Impale onto BDD. He's taken out, and this gives access to the inhibitor.
The Kingzone, they just don't have the damage right now. They cannot lock down Uzi in time, and now it's a mid-inhib falling. Xiaohu coming with the big wave in the bot lane.
Uzi was able to take his first LPL. Oh, never mind. Let's go finish this one up. Uzi's gonna get hit with the barrel.
And Barrage comes back out, but just look at the healing. The shield. I didn't even see how Xiaohu popped prey on the back end. But with Baron-empowered minions and 60 seconds to go, Kingzone have no defenses, have no power, and have nothing to stop RNG. Royal never give up, are 1 win away from the championship and their first international title.
And we have to remember, in MSI history, we have 3 winners. Koreans won it twice. EDG won it once. I realized I said 3 winners. I obviously remember we've had 3 tournaments. And it's 2-1 Korea, it might be 2-2.
Oh.
Great point, I'm glad the game ended. Cut that part.
Boys. Uzi's got a taste of winning this year, and he likes it. Now they are 1 game away from him claiming his destiny of an international title.
3rd winner, that's what I mean.
Uzi
Give it up!
himself.
There we go, it's RNG.
Uzi himself at the top of the show, we had that hype video, and he said, I am tired of losing in finals. 4 regional finals, he's only won 1. He had 2 world championship finals, which he lost in back-to-back years, and now he's 1 game away from winning this title.
That
Not
man
being
does
the
not like
bridesmaid
second
anymore.
place.
No, he doesn't. Anyways, gentlemen, that's enough from us. Let's head down to the State Farm analyst test to get their thoughts on how RNG won the game.
Thank you very much. Quick shot. RNG knows they had game 2 in the bag, and they're playing game 3 like they know that. Trying to strike back, trying to close it out in 4, and they push the series to 2-1.
And this is the best form of RNG. I said it throughout this tournament. This is not RNG at their strongest. This was a team that was supposed to be a triple threat team. Jungle, mid, and AD carry. When they showed up to the tournament, it was just Uzi who came to play. Now, they let the Vladimir go through, and Xiaohu has finally arrived in Paris.
And Xiaohu was excellent at baiting here. This was all about timing out the pull the blood here, the W here. They actually had it off cooldown, just the gank came through. Kingzone over chase, and then Xiaohu was unlocked on the map before a Sion mid, which is all about being roaming around the map, ever could get anywhere.
Yeah, and they had minion dematerializer for when the banner minion was going to come mid lane. Xiaohu's now fed. He's able to go bottom. What happened essentially after that first blood, as well as the gank top, is RNG gained control of all 3 lanes. The one lane that was supposed to be in Kingzone's favor would be the Sion to push in. Once they lose that, the other 2 lanes that are pushing just collapse because RNG played so well.
And the thing is from the draft, it should not have been that position. You know, taking Shin into a gangplank, that is a terrible matchup. You are never going to have a good time. And Sion should have enough push to keep Vladimir at least occupied in the mid lane. But like Pop is saying, you know, with the W cooldown not being accounted for, with Peanut and BDD fumbling the gank, it opened up opportunities for Xiaohu to roam and find the side lane pressure.
And Xiaohu was feeling it, Jad and Dash. The big thing there was he actually used his dematerialized attacks early, 5 of them before even the banner came out, because he was feeling, I can push and roam. If I get that first push, I can make things happen. And again, it's him that makes the unexpected move, because Vladimir on the map before Sion is unheard of.
And just to put a stamp on your point, Chad, about what that does, winning the mid lane for RNG to the rest of the lanes, Uzi's 10K timing. Do you want to guess?
I'm going to say 19 minutes, 50 seconds.
1847.
Oh, are you kidding me?
1847.
I mean, that said, we can sing Uzi's praises all day, but I want to talk about the unsung hero, Ming. He played so goddamn well this game. If they win this series, if this had been a 3-0, I almost say that you give MVP to Ming, because while Uzi is getting all of the flash, all of the recognition, Ming has been right there next to him, so perfect on these Janna ults.
Exactly, it's how you play and enable your AD carry, as well as just looking at how Prey can never become involved in any of these fights. There's the threat of Karsa, there's always Let Me around the back, he's getting dove by the Vladimir constantly. Prey's actually not even getting to auto-attack in these fights.
It's a good point, right? The one big one-team fight for Kingzone in Game 2 was the one in which Prey was left unchecked.
Look at
Never
this.
given that opportunity.
Janna did more damage than Varus.
Oh boy.
My goodness.
And the draft was such a swinger. That's the fun thing here, is this game was all about where the cuts were made. We did see Aurelia banned. It did end up taking a spot on the RNG ban list. The Orin ban was supposed to open up some more things for Khan, but in the end, they give up the Vladimir. They say, okay, take the Vladimir. That's the one adaptation. First time Vladimir's left open, it's snapped up, it's a big champion. And the second round, Janna's not banned, could have been banned. They look over it, and like you say, Proscurin, unsung heroes certainly made.
And I do want to remind everyone that Vladimir is a huge pick for RNG. Not only do they use it as a flex pick between Let Me and Xiaohu, but it also means that they can play their 1-3-1 style as well as their 5v5 style. It is a huge weapon in their arsenal.
Yeah, and they also need to double down and refocus, because RNG may feel like they could have this one, but they were also up 2-1 on SKT at the World Championship in the semifinals, and then lost the next 2 games. And it was also a pretty stomping Game 3 they had back then as well. So now is the moment for Uzi to get the international title.
I'll do you one better. They were 2 up over EDG last split before this most recent one, and they got reverse swept. So Uzi, he does start to get that little voice in the back of his head. He starts to sweat a little bit. Watch his face. Watch if he goes into Zen or if he's going to continue to ride this momentum.
We talk about morale and momentum being high for RNG, but that composure is necessary if they're going to drive it home. I want to talk about what Kingzone's feeling right now. Again, the only victory they have in this series was a game in which they were on the back foot the entire time. And here again, another crushing defeat in Game 3. They got to put 2 together, back-to-back, Papa Smithy. Can it be done?
It's possible, but I kind of come on the side of it being unlikely. They haven't been on the back foot in the LCK really at all this entire season. They lost the first game of the finals, but from there rolled through. I think this is the time where they go really to standard, they go really to comfort. If I'm RNG, I might consider banning Jace early just to stop the Jace game coming through, because that is the real tonic for a Kingzone comeback.
And Dash, I need 2 questions answered. Is there subs, and which side did Kingzone choose? Because they better pick blue.
I got answers for both, and you're going to be very, very disappointed. Kingzone electing to stay on red. No subs coming. So we got some stubborn teams facing off here in the finals.
I am shocked that they're not trying to wrestle that first pick Ezreal away. So I feel like they have to ban that Ezreal from Uzi. Yes, the Vladimir was big, the Janna ban was big going later in the game, but he's constantly in a state of lane priority down bottom, and he will snowball the game to victory if you give it to him. I'm very surprised the Kingzone staying red side.
But I think the easy solution is actually just to give the Karma ban away. The fact that they keep banning on red side, Jack, you talked about this previously. I think instead, you throw out the Karma ban, you put the Ezreal there, and that just means we're going to get Uzi's Kog'Maw.
It's all about minimizing the problems, and there are a lot of them here for Kingzone. I think you're going to have to leave something up. Even the Kai'Sa could sneak through here if you want to try and win lane through that, but seems to try that this tournament and it hasn't worked.
Yeah, to try and figure out what Kingzone is thinking with the red side, they've relied on getting counterpick the entire season. Why stop now? Probably is what they're thinking. And I agree that the Karma could be an answer to wrestling lane priority away. Drop that ban the Vladimir again, right? Get it back. We know that RNG is going to continue to ban the Aurelia because that works so well. And it's a huge uphill battle now for
I mean,
Kingzone.
so often we talk about going back to comfort with that counter pick. Do you think it should go to Khan, the guy in the top lane?
I think you go for an earlier champion, a Jace or a Camille as early as you can get it, and try and leave the counter pick somewhere else. This was a game where with the Ornn ban, they still ended up with GP versus tank. That could have been GP versus Ornn, which is pretty similar, all things considered. So I think indexing into Khan, setting up Khan for success, that is still their win condition. That doesn't necessarily need to mean last picking on red side.
I do want to say that there still seems to be some disconnect on cross-map communication between Khan and the rest of the team. There was a couple times he's getting caught out in these side lanes that maybe when they were going for the dive, it's Khan that grabs the tower aggro as opposed to Peanut. It was a wonky situation there. So even if they set Khan up for success, I don't know if under such a high-pressure situation, because this is 2 international events now that Khan has had a very shaky performance, if he can actually step up and be that superstar that we know him to be in the LCK.
And especially looking at the rest of Kingzone, Praying Gorilla just had a Varus game where he did under 5,000 damage after carrying on the Varus in game 2. When they talk about really needing to get that first international event, how much more it would mean to win as the sole representative of Korea, that pressure has been on their heads the entire tournament. I don't think they've necessarily dealt with it to the way SKT did. It's all on the line now.
Papa Smith, I have to imagine that pressure is only growing and growing and growing. Again, we have to remember that a lot of these guys on Kingzone at international tournaments have fallen short. So on top of living up to the ghost of SKT, it's about defeating their own demons, right, that have been plaguing them throughout their tournament, or rather their careers.
It has to be with comfort. I think they need to fall back to something, maybe a different strategy. Again, the Jace, I would just consider banning it first round as RNG. Where do you fit that in? I don't have all the answers, but you need comfort here. They are a fiery bunch, these guys. We've seen the happy side of it. The sad side is probably just as vicious, so it's a close call.
Well, it's not us who has to have the answers. It's Kingzone, right? So RNG here on match point. They're on the cusp of claiming the title of MSI champion. We'll see if Kingzone can bring this series to Game 5 when we return.